let's talk about intervals. Now, we're going to go very basic on the intervals. When we talk about intervals, you need to know two things. Number one, you need to know the number. And number two, you need to know the quality. Quality means major, minor, augmented, diminished, and we haven't even talked about any of these yet, so we're not going to do that right now. We're just going to talk about figuring out the number, and then we're going to learn what happens when we invert them. What does that mean to invert them? Let me show you. So let's start off by just talking about what intervals are. We don't even need a clef to do this. I'm going to have a note right here, and that note is going to go up to there, okay? An interval is just a distance between notes. Now, you can't think about this like, say, a board game. Let's say you're playing Monopoly or Sorry, okay? And your space is right here. There you are, okay? And I roll a 3. Well, what do? You go 1, 2, 3. Agreed? That's not what we do in music. In music, we do this. If I roll a 3, we go 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the first number is the actual note. So when I look at this, I go 1, then the line would be 2, then 3, and then 4. We would call this a fourth. Okay? If I took this note and went to this note, we start on the line, which go line, space, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That would be a seventh. Okay? One thing that can really help you also is when we do chords, we're just stacking them in what we call just a reposition. We're always looking at thirds. You can always find a third because it's line to line or it's a space to a space. Okay, so thirds are really easy. I mean, just count them. That's a little ugly. Sorry, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's how we find our thirds. And we just keep stacking thirds. Here's another chord. Boom, boom, boom. A third above a third, or a third and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a fifth. So above this note, we have a third and we have a fifth. Okay? If you notice, if I were to just keep going line all the way up, they're all odd numbers. Third, fifth, seventh. If I wanted to go up here, I can go a ninth and so on and so forth. Same thing with spaces. Boom, there's a third, there's a fifth, there's a seventh, there's a ninth, there's an 11th if we want to keep going. And so that's how we figure out our intervals. If it's a line to a space or a space to a line, it's going to be some type of an even number, okay? So from here to, let's just go right there, I know it's going to be some kind of an even number. Now, your eyes are going to just see these right away pretty soon after doing them. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That right there is a sixth. Octaves, okay? We call them octaves, even though when you do the number, you'll see it as an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But we don't say eighth. We say octave. Or sometimes it's just an 8VA. That's just a shorthand of an octave as well, okay? Now, what if the note doesn't move at all? From here to here. Well, that's a one or something. I don't know. We don't call it that. We have a special name. We call them unisons. Okay, so these notes are unisons. These notes are octaves. Everything else, we have second, third, fourth, fifth, and all that to them, okay? So that's the numbers. Now, I said we talk about inversions as well. What does that mean? Well, there's something that we call the rule of nines. What does rule of nines mean? Well, let's take this and just talk about what an inversion means. So this right here is a fourth, okay? You can count it up and see that right there is a fourth. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bottom note, I'm going to invert it so it's above this note. So let's go ahead and give a clef to this and it'll make a little more sense. So we'll give that a treble clef. Well, that's a G. Well, what if I want to move it up to this G up here, okay? So now, oh, he's gone. So now he's going to be, the C is going to be the lowest note, and the G is going to be up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It becomes a fifth. Notice, what's 4 plus 5? It's a ninth, okay? So that's what we mean by the rule of nines. Still freaking out? That's okay, let's do this one. let's do an F to a G. That's going to be called a second. Okay, 1, 2. But now I'm going to take this note and I'm going to move it up an octave. So I'm going to keep the G right there, and I'm going to take the F and I'm going to move it up here. Now count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. What you're going to notice is that a second, when you invert it, meaning putting it up an octave, or you can go the other way and take this to go down an octave, it's going to work out the same way. A fourth will turn into a fifth. A third will turn into a sixth. A second will turn into a seventh. A unison will turn into an octave. So the intervals, when you invert them, they always add up to 9. And what you're going to find out in music is that kind of the functionality of the notes are very similar. Okay, a third and a sixth, no, they're not the same, but the ear sort of perceives them very similarly. Same thing with a fourth and a fifth. The ear perceives them similar. A second and a seventh are very dissonant intervals, but what you're going to find is that, you know, a second and a seventh, they're both going to have that dissonance. They're going to carry the same function in a chord. Okay, and sometimes when we're trying to find intervals, I'm going to do some tricks where they might be really hard to find, but then when we invert it, we go, oh, I know what it is now. So that's why it's important that you know. So this is just dealing with the number, not the quality, but these are the basics of intervals and their inversions.